Hi everybody, and welcome to session 2 of MEDT 3401. I have printed up the session checklist here, which I urge you to also do. If you'll remember, there's a little dot 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 icon in the upper right hand corner of this checklist page, and you can select print, and then you can hit Control P or Apple P or something to get it printed. You can also, what was the right word, undock it from D2L. There's like at the top, inside of the D2L frame, there's like a little icon with some green arrows. It's called undock, and you can actually undock and pop this out, and that might make it easier to print out of D2L, outside of D2L. D2L doesn't like to print web pages within its own frames. It likes to print its own stuff. Okay, so what are we doing in this module? Well, there's a lot of information on this checklist, okay? And you want to kind of read through it all, I think. If you really want to not be confused by some things, it's confusing if you don't read everything. So read and mark off as you go. We have some upcoming class meetings because in the third session of the class, you're actually going to be making a podcast about bring your own technology initiatives that are sort of on the rise in Georgia and beyond. So you're going to read about BYOT, but this is not in this module. Next module, you're going to be making a podcast. And I urge you to consider coming to one of the face-to-face sessions. There's 2 face-to-face sessions on campus. One's on a weeknight kind of late, and then one's on a Saturday. And then there's another one, I believe, on a Sunday night that's actually online, but it's live. And so you'll get to see everything that people in the face-to-face sessions see pretty much, and you'll get to ask questions. And basically I'm previewing that process of how you make a podcast. In the face-to-face sessions on campus, students actually make a podcast. So we make a practice kind of, not amazing podcast in that session. And so you want to consider that if you want to come to campus for the session, or if you want to do it through the online learning tool, Blackboard Collaborate, read up on that. As always, please don't forget about the course plan. The course plan is an amazing document that tells you what is due when. It's about all those things that carry points in the class. It's very bare bones. It just cuts through all this. This is a lot of detail in a checklist. The detail is important, but sometimes you have to just know, okay, what is due when, and so that's what the course plan does. So always make sure you're looking at that. That's why I provided a link to it here. Something I learned how to use yesterday, so here at the end of session 1, orientation session, is I learned how to use the D2L calendar tool. So you're going to start seeing your assignment due dates pop up in the calendar. What I did have to do, this is a little bit of an aside, it's not necessarily pertaining only to this session and this checklist, but everything in this class, and I'm just going to say this repeatedly in other videos too, everything in this class, according to every Dropbox, has an April deadline on it. But I need you to understand that your work is due before April. But the reason I leave that open is for flexibility. Because if you read the syllabus, there are rules, there are certain things that you can do. If you read about cutoff windows, and if you read about the late policy, you'll understand why I have to have all the Dropboxes open the whole semester. Because I can't be closing them, and then you start emailing me assignments and things like that. So I need you to be able to access that Dropbox. But I also need you to make sure that, so don't rely on the due date that's in the Dropbox. The due date on all Dropboxes is like April 24th or something, 2013. Well, this Wiki Foundation assignment that's happening in session 2, it's not due in April, okay? It's going to be due here at the end of January. Actually, it's going to be due on February 3rd, okay? So don't, just because it says April in the Dropbox, know that the course plan has the deadline. If you want to use the cutoff window, go read about that. If you've forgotten what I mean by that, go check out the syllabus. The cutoff window is a way in which you have wiggle room on almost every single Dropbox assignment that there is. You do have wiggle room, so go review that policy if you want to, take advantage of that. If things are past the cutoff, the week-long cutoff window, then that's where points definitely start getting deducted for late assignments. Okay, so that was my aside. Dropbox dates, the dates in Dropbox are not accurate in terms of deadlines. The deadlines on the course plan and in the D2L calendar tool are correct. Okay? Alright, so what are we doing? Well, we're going to be building your sort of wiki foundation. It's an electronic portfolio that I have you build for the class. It's not the same thing as TK20. It's just the place where you post all of your work in an organized fashion, and by so doing, I know that you are fluent in using a wiki, which is a kind of website. That's all it is. It's a super easy website to use, and a lot of you are starting to use them in other classes. You've already used them in previous classes as other professors start adopting wikis for use in their classes. So a lot of you have already encountered them. Some of you may be familiar and not very scared, but I think a lot of you will find that you become quite proficient by the end of the semester. So that's one of the points. That's why we do it in the wiki. It's not just to have an electronic portfolio floating around, but it is another way also for you to keep your work in one place and to be in control of it, so that it's not just locked down in some D2L class that vanishes from your site in a few years. Okay, so the Wiki Foundation is an assignment where you build a wiki. You basically copy the example that I give you, okay? And I won't say too much more. I want you to read the checklist. It'll give you more details. I also give you some examples of educational wikis to look at, and a video from a local Georgia teacher, Vicki Davis, and how she uses wikis in her classroom. So check that out. You have a page on your wiki. Once you build your wiki, you will have created a page called Readings, and on that Readings page there will be 3 sets of questions. Each set pertains to one reading. So you're going to have 3 readings that you sort of read over the next 6 weeks, and you report on them, you answer the questions on that wiki page over the next 6 weeks. So you don't have to turn in the readings page to this module. You turn it in at the end of module 4, or session 4, should I call it. But you do want to do your readings on a weekly or session basis. Don't wait till the end of session 4 to do all 3 readings and answer your questions. You won't learn as much that way. You'll hate the class more that way, which I don't want you to do. So that's readings. Just read these details. The thing that confuses people is the way that you submit the assignment. Well, it may not be so confusing this semester. Yeah, but you need to get it in the Dropbox by, this actually may confuse more. You need to get all of that readings page completely finished by the end of session 4. So I'm looking at the course plan now, because the very last reading on backward design is session 4, so that session ends on March 3rd. So you'll want to have your readings page finished by then and turn it into the Dropbox. And you'll see that in the calendar tool on D2L. It'll remind you of that. And I may even show you guys how you can actually print out all of the deadlines very clearly in D2L. I just learned that too recently. Okay? You have a discussion this session about the digital school. There's a school in North Carolina that did a laptop initiative, and I want you to just think about that and discuss that with your peers in the class. Be sure you get your webcam soon. I've provided the links to how you select a webcam. And finally, we have another Voices from the Field video. I only gave you one to watch. It's 10 minutes long, and it's with a teacher in Cobb County, a special education teacher. And the first time I heard this interview, I was just really amazed at how articulate this teacher was, and how good he was at explaining technology, and he really had a good sense for, what new teachers need versus more experienced, and he talks a lot about professional development of teachers in schools. So I hope you enjoy this video, the interview. It's not really a video. It is in YouTube, but it's just one screen. It's really a podcast. So I hope you enjoy it, whether you're a regular classroom teacher, which is what I was. I taught 7th through 12th grade language arts and Spanish, and there's something in there for all of us to learn, whether you teach math or chemistry or early childhood, or maybe you're a speech-language pathologist. Well, a lot of the technologies speech-language pathologists use are assistive technologies, which is this, in the same neighborhood as the technologies that special education teachers often have their students use. So this podcast, even though it's an elementary special ed teacher, applies to all of us, and you can think of ways in which there's going to be takeaways. So let me leave it there. Look forward to hearing about your takeaways. So that's module or session 2. Let me know if you have any questions. Send me your questions in either the course questions and answers board, which everybody can take a stab at answering, or through D2L mail. And you're also welcome to text me and call me on the phone, you know. So anyway, let me know how I can help. Oh, there goes my big thumb. All right, there it goes.